Hello guys, and welcome back. In this video I want to actually return to my head rotation stuff because I was watching how this was working and just kept freaking me out. I mean, whoever, have you ever seen anybody sneaking like this? Like having that look, like what you're looking at, dude? I mean, that looks really unnatural. So there's a few ways we can approach this, and I'm gonna take a look at a fairly complicated one, and then I'm gonna finish off with a very simple solution to this, actually. So I just wanted to include the complicated solution because I think it's kind of neat, but still it's not maybe not the preferred solution you want to have. Anyway, so first of all, what we want to do is to say, okay, whenever you move, you want to have the animation. The original animation is looking something like this. So there's zero movement on the head, and then you want him to stay in that pose. But what you also want to have is that when you then swing the mouse, then he should start looking, and he should keep that movement until you move, and then he should keep the other animation rotation. Okay. So that's what I'm after. Also, one other thing I want to differentiate this behavior on is the crouch state, because right now the head rotation is looking completely fucked up. I mean, do you know anybody who can do this? So I just needed to take a look at how to change this. So first of all, we need to know when we move the mouse, and we can pick that up on the event graph by taking a look at the mouse input. So we have these two input axis turn, which are actually just kind of untouched from since we started this project. So let's save these two values so we can read them elsewhere. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna make two variables to hold these. So I'm gonna drag these out and promote to a variable, and make sure to set them, and then just reconnect this one, and let's call that the input axis turn value. I misspelled something there, didn't I? Yep. Okay, and this one, promote to variable, and connect that up. Okay, so now we have these two values, and we can use them inside our head rotation function, the big spaghetti one that we made last time. So let's see, where do we start? We have the movement state here, and we have checking if we are in cover, and let's see, we wanna check, we want to actually make a variable, and it's gonna be, we want to make a variable saying that if or not we should use head rotation to follow the control. So call this head. So this is going to be true if we want to follow the control, and I believe this should have a default value. Let's compile. So per default, should it follow the control? but I don't think this really matters. But anyway, so this, we use this to say should you follow the control or not. So if we need to move this up. If we say we want to follow the control, so let's drag this one in, and we want to, let's see, where do we want to put this one? We lost a clamp here, I see. I think I might have edited this off video. This one is missing. It used to be here. Maybe it's not necessary. Anyway, now it's here. Okay, so in between this one, the minus here, and we want to make a check saying if we want to use this the controller rotation or not, and we do it the same way with the select float. So drag this one up. Okay. And put this one in here, and this one in here. And then we want to leave this to 0, because that actually means that if this is set to 0, then it will just have a 0 rotation on the yaw, which means that it will just be as the animation was. So the other thing, what we wanted to say, okay, if we are in cover mode here, then we will use the top branch up here. So from that one is in cover. We want to drag out and say, okay, are we moving? Okay, this is going to be kind of messy. Okay, anyway, so if we're moving, we know that we can get that from the velocity, say the length. Are you different from 0? If you are, then we know we're moving. And if we are moving, then we want to just make sure to set that head. I'm just going to copy that that head follow controller to, no, I can't do that, damn it. Because we want to set it. We want to set it to false. So that basically means that it's going to follow the animation. So the change to this, oh jeez, I need more space. So sorry about the mess. You want to actually take all this, most of this stuff here and here, and pack that into a function. I'm going to do that in the next video, I think, and then you can see the result. Anyway, I'm not going to do it now. So let's continue. So if we from the we are in cover, checking if we are moving, and if we're moving, don't use the controller rotation. If we are moving, we want to set this follow control rotation based on a number of parameters, or yeah, and if this is true, then let's see, then we just want to go in here, I believe. Yep. So let's see. Damn it, I need more space still. Okay. Wow, messy. Okay, so these two values here, they tell us if we are moving the mouse. So if either of these are different from 0, different from 0, this or this is different from 0. And then this is going to tick every run every tick. So if we hold the mouse still for just one frame, then this is going to turn back to false. So if we ever set this to be true, then we want to keep that value. So we're going to actually OR that one. So if it at some point got a true, then it will this OR will make sure that it still holds true until we move the mouse again, until we move our character again. So let's test this out and see how that looks. Okay, so as you can see now, he keeps the rotation, and if I move the mouse, he's gonna pop his head out, and then he's gonna follow the rotation around. And if I start to move again, he will return the head to the way he's moving. Okay, so since we don't like the popping of the head still, I'm just gonna throw in an interp on this. So our current head rotation, I believe we have to get from, we have the anim instance down here, and that do we need that? Yeah, because we kind of need the current head rotation. Yes. So we have a local variable called local animbp, and we can drag that in. So this is a reference already, as I just showed, set in the beginning of this function. Okay, so we can drag this one out and say, okay, get the current rotation of the head. And then we want to make a rotate interp to, and the target is going to be the new, and our delta time is going to be the get world delta as usual, and the interp speed, let's set it fairly high to begin with and see how that looks, and then connect that one in. So now we just replaced the raw value with an interp, so it doesn't just pop right in place. But that is actually going to affect all the rotation when we are in cover mode. So, but as you can see now, it looks quite a lot better, I think. Well, there's a little delay on the head, I don't mind that, it looks okay. And now when I turn the head is going to turn, and looks pretty natural, I think. So he can look up and down now, like that, and also when he moves. So the thing is that when we are in cover state, we still have this, and I don't really like that he can do that. So there's a number of ways to fix this, but I think the best way I could come up with was to just say, okay, whenever he is in he is in crouch cover state, then I actually don't want to follow the controller. So the way to do this is just gonna be by adding here, where we added this logic down here. Just plug in a new and in between here, and say we need to be, do we have a local movement state? Yeah, we do. Say, okay, are you equal to, or actually are you different from crouching cover? So we're only going to set this to true if we are in crouching, different from crouching cover. So in this case, it will only be set if we are in standing cover. So when we come into crouching cover, the head is only going to move up and down using the pitch, and that, I think that makes it look a bit better. But as you can see now, the head does not follow around and that's kind of a trade-off. But I think that solution, since the animation as I made it, is it's better this way. Okay, so I think one last thing I want to finish off with. Oh, we have something here. Something with the head, because actually the head is rotating, I believe, the opposite direction when we are in first person. So actually I want to add one more thing to this, and that's going to be the last, I believe. So we use all this logic here now when we are in cover state, but what I want to do also when we are in first person view, so is that I want to just follow the control rotation actually. So the head should just follow the raw control rotation with all this blah 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 stuff over here. So I'm gonna throw that in real quick, and for that I'm just gonna make a function, and that also illustrates a good way to encapsulate stuff. So I'm gonna call this get view mode. Oh, seems I already made it. Okay, in that case, then you just get to see it. I have an active camera, which is a variable camera component reference, and I set this whenever I change the camera. Now I have the first person camera, I have the follow cam, so whenever I change from one of the two here, I make sure to update that active camera. So I can check in here, so are we in first person camera or not, and then I return actually both these two. And the reason I return both of these two is just for convenience, so that I can construct my logic the way I want to have, but obviously I only need one of these. Hope that made sense. So let's see, we have the check somewhere. Jesus Christ, I have lots of stuff. And to begin with, I am in the wrong function, so excuse me. We are setting this here, and let's see, we could actually just, we have a check if we are in cover or not, and actually we could do something like saying, okay, no matter what, because if we are in first person view, we could say just use the control rotation. So just have to think, okay, why do we want to split this? Okay, we want to split it here, I think. And then make check, so we check if, no, we don't want to make it there. So this is checking the cover mode, and okay, so we could try and plug this in all the way at the beginning. I haven't really tried this, but anyway, I put it in this place before, but I'm just trying something new now. So get view mode, bear with me if it doesn't work, then I will make a quick change and fix it. So if we are in this one up a little bit and a little bit to the side and put in a branch. Okay, so hopefully now it makes sense why I made both one or the other, because okay, so I want to have this one going to the true because I have space to drag down here. So if we are in third person, then we want to have all this happen. and then so if we are not in first person, it means we are in first person, and in that case we want to drag this one out and reroute mode and plug that one in all the way over to the head rotation. Actually not, no, we do not want to do that, sorry, because we want to set a separate damn it, okay, we want to first of all get the control rotation, okay, like that, and then we want to set okay, damn it, I need to make a function, I desperately need to make a function, this is getting way too messy. Okay, bear over with me, in the next tutorial I will have this all fixed up and go through the nice clean solution. Okay, so this is where we set the local head rotation, and we're gonna set that from this one, and we're gonna drag this one down here and plug that in here, and it needs to come off. Okay, that's why I put it there. Okay, it needs to be the local NMBP. Okay, yeah, gonna copy this one. Okay, and then this one needs to be plugged into that false that false check from the third person. Okay, sorry, totally a mess. Okay, let's check it out, if that made any difference, or it was just a waste of time. Hope it isn't. Nope, looks better now. So now our head doesn't go through the shoulder, because the head is now moving correctly. It's not moving actually the opposite way. So that is kind of a little fix that wasn't really visible in the first place. But okay, so I think now the solution, I kind of like this solution, and yeah, I promise to finish off with the super simple solution to this. And that is actually by saying, okay, we don't want to use we have this all this logic up here, and we're going to pick the 0 for this one. So the super easy version of this is just to disconnect this head follow, so it will always use the animation for the yaw only, this the yaw angles. So whenever we move, we can still look up and down. We cannot look from side to side, but we can look up and down, and also in here we can only look up and down and not any of the other ways around. I think that's actually okay, and it's working, and it's looking okay, and yeah, as I said, there is a slightly better way to do this. No, actually not. Well, this is a way I think I'm gonna continue with it, but I just wanted to mention that this is actually also a pretty good solution, I think. Thank you for watching, and sorry about the mess. I will clean this up. I have this cleaned up in the next tutorial, so it will be way better to look at, and then we will continue the work on something new. Okay, so thank you for watching it, and bye.